Colleen, when is the last time you guys actually talked, with each other?
Yesterday.
Oh,
yesterday.
Yeah, honestly, I would say that we've stayed in. I mean, we're still family. We probably, I don't know, every other month probably still catch up, chat, check in.
Wow, that's awesome. I don't think Allie's going to talk to me ever again once we get done doing this show, whenever that is.
Well, that's because I won't be paid to talk to
you. Yeah, exactly. How long did you guys work together?
I literally have no idea. Go ahead, Colleen.
I was a baby, so that was 18 years ago. And then we started working together, I think, shortly after that.
So how long did you do the show together? What was it, 10 years?
I think it was probably at least 10 years.
Until he left me.
Well, you left in the middle. Colleen left for a while to have a baby, and then we bribed her to come back, and because she's like, I don't even need to get paid. If I could get health insurance, that'd be awesome.
I keep telling Allie, because she's newly married, so the next thing is going to be the family, and it must have been hard to do a morning show when you're a mom.
Pete really got the brunt of all of it because he dealt with the morning sickness. He dealt with me being exhausted coming back to work. And he never lets me forget that I wore these green cargo pants every single day because it's literally the only thing that fit. And he made fun of me every day for it.
That must have been pre-yoga pants, right? Because now that's just fashionable.
That's all I wear now.
So, right? Yeah, exactly. So let's catch everybody up. We're talking with Pete and Colleen, who many of you folks listened to for many years here on the morning show at XL Country. What are you guys doing now? Let's start with you, Pete.
I'm doing the same thing. So I left Bozeman and worked for the same company that we worked for in Bozeman that you guys are with in Fort Collins for a few years, and then ended up with the same company still in St. Cloud, Minnesota, where it's about an hour from where I grew up and my parents and stuff. So I'm doing a country show here in St. Cloud and just got off the air because we're an hour ahead. And so playing the same games and playing the same music. It's fun.
Do you have a co-host now, or is it just you?
No, I've got a co-host. Nobody could take just me. That'd be way too boring. Colleen I was like the button pusher and the setter upper, and Colleen was the hit the ball out of the park, goofy, funny person by nature. You can't make her kind of crazy up.
I love you, Pete.
What about you, Colleen? What do you do now?
I do what everyone else in the valley is doing. I'm a realtor.
So you're still in the valley?
I'm still in the valley. I'm still in Bozeman. I just moved just outside of Bozeman. But yeah, I've been doing real estate since I quit the radio. And it's been great because I'm with my kids more.
Can I change my answer? Because my answer was going to be, and I forgot I was going to say, I pretend to sell real estate and drink Jameson all day. Oh, wait. No, that's Colleen. Mine.
That hits a little too close to home.
Do you miss the radio, Colleen?
I do. I miss doing the radio with Pete, I should say. That was the happiest I've ever been. My favorite job that I've ever had. If I could go back to doing radio with Pete, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Okay, so we got to ask you, since we've got him on, because Allie and I talk about this sometimes. You guys did the show for 10 years. I guarantee you every day wasn't bliss. Did you guys ever get mad at each other on the air, or did you ever do a show where you weren't talking, outside of being on the radio?
Daily. I mean, it's one of those things where, because honestly, I think of Colleen as family. She's like a sister. And if you spend that much time together, I mean, you guys know, when you spend that much time together, I love you to death, and I want to kill you at least one point every day.
Right?
Oh, so true.
Yeah. I think it was mostly him wanting to kill me because I'll be honest, I didn't do a lot of work. I was just...
So you're like Allie. Yeah.
Hey!
You spend almost more time with your morning show partner than you do your spouse, and literally from 3 feet away. You're in the same sphere, constantly.
Totally.
Which
it's like in a car and going on a 4-hour road trip together every day, and you can't get out.
I get along better with Pete than just about anybody else I know, though. It was fun every single day.
It's also amazing how a couple thousand miles makes that seem a little better.
We're talking with Pete and Colleen, who used to do the morning show here on XL Country, and they don't really need an intro for most of the folks, but we get a lot of new people, moving in all the time, as you know, because you're selling houses now. So they were on here forever, beloved here in the community to this day. Give us an example of what's something that sticks in your mind that you guys did that you were like, wow, that was one of the coolest things we ever did on the radio.
For me, the thing that always comes back to is all the St. Jude days and all the things that surrounded all the St. Jude stuff. Those were some of the coolest moments in radio. But honestly, we were spoiled rotten. I mean, we got to do so many cool things, whether it was with, Bobcat football or just, I mean, you guys know, just being part of the Gallatin Valley and being part of that community, there's not a lot of specific things that stick out in my head. It's more just the overall flavor that, I mean, I grew up in Minnesota, but I lived in Bozeman for almost 20 years, and that's still where my heart is. And it's not really about any specific incident or things we did. It's just, that's a big part of my home now, still, even in my brain and my heart.
What about you, Colleen?
I would have to agree with everything Pete said. The St. Jude times were so special, and it always brought Pete and I even closer. And then there are some things that we did out in public where we would get the giggles. We were doing a remote, several remotes. There was one time we got the giggles at a very inappropriate time, and we just started working.
Tell that story.
You tell it.
It was for the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life.
Yes.
And it was the luminary ceremony. It was at Bozeman High School. We were up in the press box reading the names of everybody who was either a cancer survivor or had passed from cancer. And, obviously a very meaningful and ceremonial time. And there was a name that came up that was clearly somebody's nickname, and we both got the giggles at the same time. Like the least appropriate time ever to get the giggles, but it's that time where the harder you try not to laugh, the harder it is not to, I mean, I literally was like, don't look at Colleen, don't look at Colleen, don't look at Colleen, don't look at Colleen. Like, kind of my every morning thing anyhow, but still.
So were you guys in the same studio, or were you in a different location?
We sat in your spot right now.
How about that? Were you sitting in mine, and were you behind the console?
Yep, and we actually started across the hall. I think is that still the KISS studio?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where XL started. And then because KISS used to be in this studio that you guys are in, and when their staff, a couple of people left, we took it over. We want that one.
Yeah.
Because it was bigger?
Yeah, newly remodeled.
A couple more things before we wrap it up here. We're talking with Pete and Colleen, who used to do the morning show here on XL Country forever. Pete, Jess from the high school. He's retired now. He was the old shop teacher.
Jess Stovall.
Yes, he reached out to me this week, and he said, hey, ask Pete, does he remember that I taught him how to ride a motorcycle?
He did. He taught the Harley riders course. Another funny story about Jess is Colleen and I did a contest once where it was the Monday after Father's Day, and we had concert tickets or something, and we would trade these concert tickets for whatever you got for Father's Day that you wanted to trade us for. Somebody gave us a truck.
They gave it what? Wow.
Granted, it was probably worth about $200. I mean, it ran, but that's about it. It was somebody from Livingston, and we ended up donating it to Jess's shop class, and the kids fixed it up and worked on it and stuff. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
And then our buddy Chris Wojciechowski, who's been listening to this station for like 19 years, he actually did a video for us this morning. He sent me a picture yesterday. It was an old cafe. I don't even know where it is, but he said he met you guys like 15 years ago. You guys were broadcasting live at this cafe that you've done a million remotes just like we have, so you probably don't remember it. But he did, and he had a picture of the place that he sent me yesterday. So many people, seriously, I don't think you guys realize how big you really were, because we're constantly hearing about Pete and Colleen to this day.
Well, when we were on, there was no TV, there was no, it was before technology, so we were really good. There's nothing else to do except, I guess we'll turn them on.
Pete and I were talking yesterday, though. We were doing a remote at the mall, and this woman came up to us, and she goes, you're not Pete and Colleen, are you? And we go, yeah. And she goes, wow, what a disappointment.
Well, Dave, you've experienced that.
It wasn't all roses.
I usually get, I thought you'd be taller.
So it's funny that you say that, because we were at another place once, and somebody came up to us and they said, you're Pete and Colleen, all right. Pete, I thought you'd be bigger. And Colleen, you're better looking than I thought you'd be. And I said, that means I sound big and you sound ugly.
Oh my God. Hey, you guys are awesome. Thanks for coming on with us today. Again, it's 20 years today, and you guys, I mean, you were here longer than we've been here. You're a big part of this day. So thanks for your contributions. And usually, you know, I've been here 7 years. Usually when you go to a new radio station, you're kind of building it up. But this place was, man, it was huge when I got here. It was monster, and mainly because of you guys. So thanks.
That's sweet of you to say. You guys keep up the good work. You're doing a great job.
Thanks for having us. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's Pete Colleen, everybody.